Today's video, going to be replacing the water pump on this Denali. And the reason why, it's only been sitting here for a couple minutes and you can see it's already leaking. If you follow this up, you can see the coolant just dripping down. It looks like it's coming from the back of the pulley, so the seal might have just went bad on the pulley. We'll see when we fully take it off. So that's why we're going to replace it. First thing we're going to do is take off the intake, 8mm. On this driver's side, this is your left tow hook, your driver's side tow hook. If you follow it up, right up here there's a petcock, and the nipples on here on the left side, driver's side. If you had a full radiator, what you would do is put a rubber hose right there down into a drain pan. You would turn that petcock counterclockwise, and you would drain the coolant from the radiator. First thing we're gonna do is remove this upper radiator hose. $15mm for the tensioner. Now we're going to go ahead and take off this lower radiator hose that goes to the thermostat housing. Now we're going to take off the heater hose lines. We're going to take off this tensioner, 2/15. $10mm for the thermostat housing. There's 6 bolts that hold the water pump on, 3 on the left side and 3 on the right side. 10mm. So now we can go ahead and take our gaskets, since we're going to replace them with some new ones. We're going to put the top bolts in on each side. So then we can go ahead and throw our gasket on there, which would hold it. It's only going to go one way. Now with both gaskets on, we can go ahead and install it. Torque for the bolts are 22 foot-pounds. We got a new thermostat because they didn't sell just a gasket, they had to sell the whole thermostat. You want to make sure your little doggle is straight up. Torque is 11 foot-pounds or 132 inch-pounds. Now we can go ahead and put our hoses back on. 37 foot-pounds. Now we can go ahead and put it on our belt. Now we can go ahead and put our upper radiator hose on. And there you go, everything's on. Water pump, thermostat housing, pulley, intake. Now we go ahead and fill up the reservoir. And now we just turn on the truck to bleed the system. And we're gonna go ahead and put our heat all the way up. Those two hoses that go on the side of the water pump, those are for your heater core. You're gonna have to cycle the air out of that also. So that's why we're turning on the fan all the way up. Heat all the way high. It'll take a little while to get hot, but it'll get there eventually. And you're gonna wanna monitor your temp, make sure you don't overheat. It should be sitting at 210 when it's fully warmed up. And you don't want to get under the truck, making sure that you're not leaking out of your new gaskets or your thermostat housing. Just for visual reference, you can see heat coming out of the motor. All right, after driving around for 5 minutes, it's holding steady at just under 210. And with my helper, go ahead, put it. You can see we are getting heat out of the vents. So we know the coolant is circulating through the heater core. Lastly, just make sure that you're not leaking any coolant. And that's how you replace a water pump on these Denalis. Hopefully the video helps y'all. You have a good one.